Have you ever thought about how catchy the Eyewitness Books like theme song was for the show slash whatever you want to call it? Because every once in a while it gets into my head. It's like bum ba da ba dum bum ba da ba dum bum ba ba dum bum 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 bum. Well, I hope that felt nostalgic for you as it did for me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the FVI, the show where I talk about my first volume impressions, where I talk about a first volume, or I talk about a one shot, or I talk about a very long one volume thing. And I discuss it here to tell you my first impressions, my thoughts, my basically a review in a nutshell, and whether or not it is worth picking up. So, today is going to be an interesting one because well, I don't know if it's that interesting, but it is a series that a lot of people were super hyped up for when it first was announced, first in English and then obviously for print. So I'm really excited to finally show this off, and I hope you're excited for it too. In random news, I'm super excited. I hit 600 subscribers last week, and I don't really know why. I think my manga pickups video did a lot better than whatever because the YouTube gods shined down on me. Thank you, YouTube. So yeah, awesome. 600 subscribers, we did it. Congratulations to me, I guess, and thank you everybody for watching because y'all are making this worth it. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. Let's get on with the FVI. Let's go. Okay, so this might actually be one of the newest releases that I've ever covered, and when I mean that, I mean like in also the original Japanese format. This series originally released in Weekly Shonen Jump on April 2021. So not even like it's been a month and I can do this 7 months or a year and 7 months. I didn't even say it right the first time. A year and 7 months since this series first debuted in Japan. And here we have it here in print for the first time, Volume 1. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Box by Koji Miura, a sports manga series that I'm going to be talking about today. So, to get some stuff out of the way, we have our translation is by Christine Dashiell, our touch-up art and lettering by Mark McMurray, designed by Alice Lewis, the Shonen Jump series editor Alexis Kirsch, and graphic novel editor Jack Carrillo Concordia. Alright, so let's talk about this cover and this spine. So, this cover, not gonna lie, not one of my favorites. I'm not opposed to having just characters on the front with the title, but yeah, I mean, you could have done a little bit better. I would have preferred something a little bit better. Obviously, this gets the job done. I'm not gonna critique anybody on this design or whatever, but yeah, not one of my favorites. The spine is pretty nice. It has I really enjoy actually the title font, whatever they used. It looks like it's kind of like a watercolor brush. That's probably my favorite part of both the front and the spine here. And then on the spine here, we also have one of the main characters who I will be talking about later. And on the back, we have more of that watercolory blue they used. Yeah, I don't know if that motif is really shown in the manga, but yeah, I guess we'll get to that. But yeah, overall, this is a very fine cover and spine. Nothing to write home about. Now, we're going to be talking about two characters here. So first, we have Taiki Inamata. That's how you pronounce his name. So he's the male lead. He's a player on the boys' badminton team, and he's not necessarily the best player, but we can see that he grows exponentially if he puts the work in. He's one of your very typical shonen protagonists in a shonen series, as this is, as we all know. Yeah, I kind of like how the creator set up the character in the first volume. He comes off as a typical teenager, but I think that's what makes him interesting. That he's so realistic in a way. He has this crush on a girl, and is very typical. What I would say typical junior high / high school crush, where it's oh, what am I gonna do? I can't really talk to her. Oh, I'm too nervous, which is cool. It's totally fine. And I also really enjoy, and I really feel connected to this character, and also with the female lead as well, in their drive to play the sports to the best of their ability, because that was something that I had in high school, where I originally joined football to appease, or at least in my head, appease my parents, even though my parents never actually forced me to play any kind of sports. It was just my own thing telling me, oh, my parents are gonna be so mad because my brother played sports for 4 years and here I am going to do nothing. But yeah, I ended up enjoying the sports that I played. I played football and lacrosse, if you haven't watched my sports manga video. And I played those for 3 years and 2 years respectively. So I really enjoyed playing them at the time, and I think I definitely eclipsed that idea that like, oh, my parents want me to do this, into like, I actually just want to be good at these sports because they're fun. So I really respect that the main character is that same kind of way, where at first like he is trying to get better at badminton in order to make it to nationals for a kind of a lame reason, but he ends up pushing himself because he actually genuinely wants to be better at badminton, and I really like that about the character. So that's awesome. So next up we have Chiatsu Kano. She is the female lead. She is the star basketball player of her team, and she is well loved. Everybody thinks she's really pretty. She's super athletic. She's pretty smart. Like your typical like princess, like the best girl at the school. And of course, our main character has a crush on her. Maybe not for the reasons that most people would think. I mean, of course, because she's cute or whatever, but he really respected her drive for the sport because she will always be practicing basketball, and really appreciate that about her. And one little extra thing about our female lead here is that actually I really enjoy her relationship with the main character, because like typically with like, or not typically, but I mean, it can happen, I guess. But for a lot of like romance series, especially in the shonen genre, like the boy character always has like the most awkward like relationship with the female lead. And I can think of quite a few series where this happens. So I'm glad that this one feels a little bit more organic, like a little bit more normal, I would say, than most. So I really appreciate that for once. But let's talk about the story a bit. So story is pretty straightforward. We got the main character, main lead, really loves our female lead, and he's basically pushed himself to go play badminton and make it to nationals, so he can show that he loves the sport and can possibly win over Chiatsu's heart, which is fine. It's a very lame goal. A lot of people are like, well, that's kind of lame. Why don't you just like badminton for what it is? So that's totally cool. But he's also inspired by her because she has like a certain work ethic, because one day he was walking into like the gym to go practice and stuff, and he saw her there after like a game that was gonna be her like game to go to nationals, and they just lost, and it was like really sad, and she was like pouring her heart out there, and then was like right back into training. So he's really inspired by her work ethic, her desire to become better at whatever she's trying to do. So he was like, maybe I can be like that, and I think that's really cool. Honestly, like I really enjoy how this started. I think the story goes in a really weird place very quickly. Not to spoil anything, because I want you to be able to read this without having too many spoilers. But let's just say some crazy stuff happens, and that basically make their lives intertwined, and in a very bizarre way. However, I think it's funny and fine. Like, I don't think it's too crazy. I guess it is kind of crazy to think, but yeah, a lot of wild stuff happens, and their relationship really grows pretty fast, I would say, especially within the first volume. And I kind of really like where this story seems to be going by the end of it. So I really appreciate how Miura really like wrote out these characters. A lot of the side characters are actually really cool too, in terms of benefiting the story as well. It seems to be this is going to be like a sports rom-com. I'm not 100% sure how much like the sports aspect is going to be important. I think it's going to be more of a rom-com with that just happens to have characters who play sports, but we'll see. But I will say, let's go jump right into the art here. So the art is actually really good. I was actually really impressed. I think a lot of like the movements that they have for a lot of the characters in sports is like genuinely like you could tell that Miura really studied how characters play these sports, like especially with badminton, even with just like basic exercises. It was really cool to see how like strong his posing is in terms of drawing all these characters out. I really appreciated the badminton stuff, and then also like there's another character in here who's part of like the dancer / ballet group, and I actually really like how the art is for that too. See if I can find that really quick, because like I think, oh, there we go. So like stuff like this where like the posing is just really dynamic, really interesting, and it just, I don't know, it's got like a really nice mix of like realistic and just like realistic movements with a lot of the characters for the sports, but also just really nice like tender moments here where characters are just kind of sitting around and talking about life and why they want to do what they want to do. So yeah, I appreciate it. I think some of the comedy like faces are not my favorite. Like I think the comedy, like art for the comedy stuff, there's not a lot of it in my opinion. Like there's like here and there, but nothing like that had me dying laughing. If that makes sense. Like there are stuff where like art that really makes me laugh super hard. I think Spy Family is a good example of like mixing in like those extremely ridiculous faces that'll have you just flipping the page and be like, what the heck is going on? But like for this one, like comedy's decent in terms of the art. But yeah, overall, backgrounds are really nice. The movement, like I said, is really good. A lot of the clothing is actually drawn really well as well. I think a perfect example was right here. Right here. So let's talk about it a little bit. So as you can see, like the movement is really nice. You can tell how the character is moving within this shirt and in the shorts. And like just like looking at the blurriness of the arm, you can tell that the arm is moving back, has a nice dynamic movement to it. It's just, I don't know, it's just really well done. I think is the best way to put it. Koji Miura is clearly a very good artist. Really truly understands how like clothing works on the body, how a body moves, and I really respect that, especially for like a new artist in at least that I know of in Shonen Jump. So really excited to see how their art evolves as we get through the series. So final thoughts, let's get it over with. So Blue Box is pretty good. Is it going to top any of the other sports manga that have come out through Shonen Jump? Probably not. Is it going to uproot or be like to one of the tops of any of the comedy series from Shonen Jump? Absolutely not. Is it going to be one of the better romance series in the shonen genre? Probably not. However, that doesn't mean it's bad. I actually do enjoy the series quite a bit. I am pretty excited to start collecting for it, and I think it does the job well for all of its genres. Does it do anything that I would say is spectacular? Not really. Like I said, I think the best aspect of it is just like the movement during the sports and the clothing and how it's drawn. So yeah, excited to see where this goes. Do I suggest this for everybody? No. I think like this series is really for anybody who's looking for another sports manga to fill their void that any of the big series have left for them, whether that was Haikyuu or anything like that. But yeah, I think this is a pretty decent sports manga. I think the romantic comedy aspect of it is decent enough that if you like that kind of stuff, or even just like the baseline of it, I think you'll enjoy this. So yeah, I think this is a pretty okay manga. Not amazing, but not bad. So yeah, that's gonna be all I have to say about Blue Box. I want to know how you feel about the series. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you guys think, because I think people will enjoy this series a little bit more than I did, and it's funny because I'm making myself sound like I really hated it, but honestly I actually did enjoy it a lot. So please just keep that in mind, that I did not hate this. So if you say in the comments, oh, why are you so mean to it, it's because I prefer to critique all of the series that I read, because I think it's important to know that nothing is truly perfect, I guess. Not even in my eyes anything is truly perfect, but I think things can get very close to that, and I just like to appreciate where things are not doing so great, because I think like that's also important to know. Just as much as the good stuff is, it's important to point out the like, oh, maybe the mediocrity, or like this is very average, not crazy. So yeah, but yeah, good series. I think I'm starting to ramble a bit, so please leave your comments below. You know what to do. You can like, you can comment, and you can subscribe. There's no more favorite button. But if you do all those things, you're awesome. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And if you didn't do any of that stuff, thank you for making it to probably like 10 minutes of this video. I had a little bit of a hiccup in the filming because my phone just decided to stop filming for some reason. So if you felt like it was really awkward with my hands for like the first 4 or 5 minutes, that's why. So yeah, just something to keep in mind if you got to this far and you want to watch it again. You'll be like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why was he doing that with his hands? Well, now you know. So that's going to be it for this FBI. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.